Hello, everyone, and welcome back. And in this video, we're going to talk about Bitcoin wallets. This is a topic that if you are new to Bitcoin, if you're understanding and need to understand how to receive and custody your funds with Bitcoin, you really need to know how Bitcoin wallets work. And breaking down the fundamentals in a short video is something I wish I had when I got started with getting serious about custodying my own funds. So in this video, we'll talk about how wallets work, what they're actually doing, what's going on behind the scenes, and maybe some fresh tips on best practices for storing your hard-earned Bitcoin. So what is a Bitcoin wallet? You know, what is it actually doing? Simply put, your wallet is just storing your private key. Remember, wallets do not hold Bitcoin. You don't have Bitcoin on your wallet. Instead, you have access to private keys, which give you access to Bitcoin funds that are on the network associated to those private keys. So what it does is store the private key, and it generates a seed phrase. It will also generate the public keys in order to receive Bitcoin. It will create, sign, and then send transactions to the Bitcoin network. And then lastly, it will, it does some other things, but generally it will help you monitor transactions sent to your public addresses. So if you log into your software wallet, or if you have a hardware wallet, you might see an actual sum of the Bitcoin for that address. That is really what it's doing, is monitoring those transactions to help summarize your wallet totals. So there are two types of wallets. There are hot wallets. These are software wallets. There are cold wallets. These are offline wallets. So if you think of things like the Cold Card, the Jade Cold Card, your Trezor card, these are offline, meaning they're not connected to the internet. And this is a more secure way of securing your Bitcoin, as someone can't get access to the software that's on your computer. Hot wallet is a software wallet. So this might be a wallet that is on your phone. This might be on your computer. And these do the same thing as software that does all of those things we just talked about. And these are generally safe. However, it is a less secure way to secure your Bitcoin, as now the information is stored on your computer. So there's more of an attack vector on that wallet. So your hot wallets might be good if you're just getting started, if you have some working funds you use, some funds you want to pay people with. But in terms of long-term savings of your Bitcoin and your savings, you want to really be on a cold wallet. So the first thing it does is generate a private key. What is a private key? Well, a private key is a 256-bit alphanumeric number. It's a very, very long binary number. And from this private key, you are able to generate your public keys. In addition to this, it will create your seed phrase, which I'll get to in a minute. And then, of course, this private key is what is used to sign the transactions before you broadcast those to the Bitcoin network, so they're validated. So if you hold this private key, you have access to the Bitcoin that this private key has received before. So this is something you want to store very, very safely. If you don't have your keys, or if someone else has your keys, they have access to your Bitcoin. Right. So what next? So what's happening when you start up your wallet? Well, the first thing that will happen is you generate your private key, and this is first a long binary number, ones and zeros, very, very long. And what happens is we convert those numbers into your seed phrase. And what happens here is you take this very, very long number and you break it up into chunks. So this first chunk at the top here is then converted using the BIP39 standard. And it converts these to decimals. And these decimals are now associated with a corresponding word. And you can look up the BIP39 word list that's saved somewhere. And from this, you will generate 12 or 24 words. Standard might be 12 words. And these words are your seed phrase. And the important thing here is a seed phrase is really a user experience improvement. You can use this to recover your wallet. It's obviously easier to remember than that long decimal or alphanumeric number. And it's important to remember, if you have this seed phrase, you have the Bitcoin. This seed phrase can be used to recover your lost wallets, and you can use this to generate your private key and actually send Bitcoin. So this is something you want to save in a separate place from your wallet. You never want to save this on your computer or take a picture of this, as this could be picked up and taken. And if someone has your seed phrase, they have access to your funds, and they can steal these funds from you. So this seed phrase is then generated. And then what else is happening here? So now that you have your private key and you have your key phrase, what it also will do is generate your public key. And this may be called generally an XPub. And one thing that confuses me as I was receiving Bitcoin to a wallet is I would see different addresses every single time. And actually, this actually scared me the first time I did it. I thought I sent Bitcoin to the wrong address. Well, what it's doing is it is creating a public key, excuse the misspelling, and this public key can then be used to generate an infinite amount of public addresses. You don't want to share the public key, as the purpose of this is to sort of hide or give you some additional privacy. So as new public addresses are created, it's nearly impossible or very difficult for someone to track that back to your wallet. If you were to use the same public address every single time, well, theoretically, if someone had that public address and knew it was yours, they could track every transaction and derive how much Bitcoin you own. So always use new public addresses, never reuse them, and generally do not put your XPub somewhere public. Don't put it into a website you do not trust. If you do, no one can steal your funds, but they can track how much Bitcoin is in your wallet, and you lose a lot of privacy there. So this public key or XPub, as you might see, is then used to generate an infinite amount of new public addresses. And then lastly, your wallet is really just sending transactions. So what it will do is your software, if you have a Trezor wallet, USB connection to your computer, the software creates a transaction file. This contains the information, standard information for the transaction, including how much and where your Bitcoin will be sent to. This information is then sent to your hardware wallet, which signs this transaction. And that signature is what the nodes and the nodes on the network will use to validate that you have access to these funds. And then it sends this signed transaction back to your software wallet, and that software wallet is then sent or broadcasted to the Bitcoin network, typically to maybe the software nodes associated with the software you're using, or the nearest nodes in the Bitcoin network. It may vary by your wallet. And so that's generally it. Your wallet is somewhat of a simple pointer to funds or Bitcoin that's on the network. And if you have the password to this, the private key or seed phrase to this, you have access to that Bitcoin that is on the Bitcoin network. So remember, never share your private key or seed phrase. Always use a fresh address. And remember, you can use your seed phrase to recover Bitcoin on any new BIP39 wallet. So if you have your seed phrase and you've lost your wallet, you threw it in the river, or you had a fire in your apartment, you can recover your funds by using your seed phrase on any additional wallet. So there's that protection. So it's important to secure that seed phrase. Don't lose access to it. You may lose access to your funds. I believe that's it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know, and I hope you enjoyed this short instructional video on wallets.